Hi, welcome to Inner Abundant Mindset Podcast today. We have a fabulous guest today. You're going to love her, and you're going to learn all kinds of great things that have to do with sacred love and how relationships change and evolve. And then there's a difference between feminine energy, masculine energy, and how it affects a relationship. And then there's something about this hot, wild sex that's coming up. So stay tuned because we have a wonderful guest. So let me introduce you to Emunah Malinovitz. Oh my goodness.
I'll say it for you. It's
okay.
Emunah Malinovitz, and I'm really happy to be here. We're also going to talk about how all these things connect to your abundance. So I'm really excited to make that link because it's really powerful, and most of us don't realize that our relationships can either be helping us with our abundance or hurting our abundance.
Yes, that's very true. So let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to jump into the content of the show. So Emunah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Emunah brings new wisdom to relationships. She's passionate about radically changing the way we do relating today. And she's an expert on how to have more passion, authenticity, better sex, and feel deeply loved and desired by your partner. And who doesn't want that? She's dedicated to having real, true, authentic, sacred love, which led her on her journey around the world to learn the secrets to have hot love that lasts. So welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here and talk about this very important and juicy topic.
Yes, I can't wait to hear about it. But I'm kind of curious, how did this all evolve? What happened that you got into this line of work?
Yeah, I know. It is a very unusual line of work. I didn't go in elementary school and say, I want to teach the world about love. No, but my life journey kind of led me on that path. I had some tragedy when I was a young girl, and my dad got killed. And it broke my heart, literally, and it broke my heart in a lot of pieces. And yet the fact that I am a woman today with a vibrant, open, amazing heart and beautiful relationships where I had every opportunity and right to close down and shut down and be, angry is a big testament to who I am. And so, I don't know, all my life, I just had this sense and feeling that relationships were meant to be so much more. And like most people, I was a young girl and I started dating and getting my heart broken and feeling my needs weren't being met and feeling really angry at the people and the partners in my life that they couldn't meet my needs and blaming it on them. But there was always this desire for more. And some part of me, and I think now that I know this is my purpose, my soul knew that there was more, and I was determined. I had some kind of crazy courage within me to keep searching and keep finding and not giving up after failed relationship after failed relationship. There was a part of me that still hoped and still knew and prayed, God, please let there be more, because this sucks otherwise. Mm-hmm. And so I learned and I studied and I went around the world, and I really had to dissect myself and learn about all the things we're going to talk about today. And my intention is that all the years of my learning and suffering will help make it a lot easier for others to have this kind of love, because I do believe it's our birthright and there's so much more for us to experience, and we just need to know that it's available and know how to get there. And that's what I'm here to show people.
Oh, that's wonderful. I know I've had some really wonderful bad relationships.
Thank you for saying it like that. Wonderfully bad. Yeah. You do learn, even through all the bad ones, you learn a lot about yourself. And that's beautiful if we can look at it that way, right? But we also would like to not keep creating relationships that we have to learn so much from and have the happy ending that we all want.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's like you're with somebody and you go, wow, is this all there is? I mean, so how do we have this sacred love? How does that come about? How do we have a relationship that was like, wow, I'm really happy and this person's everything on my list?
Yes. Well, really to have that kind of love, we have to become, and I know it sounds cliche, but this is real. We have to become the person vibrationally that can receive that kind of love. And, I told you my story of my dad dying when I was 8 years old. You can imagine my heart was shut down and I didn't trust men. So that's what I attracted. Men that were shut down, that couldn't open their heart, that could prove that story right, because that's what I believe. That's what life had shown me. That's what most of us do. Now, I had to get willing to look and see at a certain point, how am I creating this? And that's a humbling moment where we have to take responsibility. But it's also a very exciting moment because it makes me not a victim to my experiences, but I'm empowered that I can transform myself. I can get into alignment. And then, and only then, will I attract this different love. And that's what happened for me, and I'm going to tell you, I have studied love and I have studied relationships and traveled around the world to find these answers. And I thought I always knew it. And then I would see what kind of a man was I attracting. And it wasn't quite yet it. And so the universe kept showing me there's more. And it was a rough journey, believe me. Like, I don't wish it on anybody. There's a lot of pain involved. And yet I had to become the kind of woman that could attract this. And when we talk about masculine and feminine energy and this divine alignment, it was like the pieces of the puzzle had to come together. So one, I had to heal all the stuff from my past, open my heart back after my, dad had died, and I needed to forgive. I needed to heal that. I also needed to go back and heal all the stuff from the relationships that didn't work.
Right.
Then we also have our mothers and fathers, like, paradigm of relationship, and that relationship affects what we create on the outside. So I had to do that too. And then
let's go back a minute.
Sure.
So for people that have their heart closed and they're in bad relationships and they don't know that their heart's closed, how can somebody open up their heart to let love in?
Well, number one, and this is going to sound simple, but so important, you have to be willing to want to open up your heart. So you have to make a conscious decision that I'm going to open my heart. And it sounds so simple, and yet for most of us, it's very scary, because to most of us, opening our heart has meant we've gotten hurt. And so we protect our heart and we shut it down. But the cost of that is really much worse than opening our heart. But to our mind that's trying to keep us safe, it feels like the thing we need to do. So,
but when your heart's closed, you're not experiencing joy. You're not experiencing happiness. There's
and then
a lot
you also blame your partner for them not giving you joy and happiness, and they can't when your heart's closed.
Right.
Yeah. So number one, you have to choose to open your heart. Right. Mm-hmm. And then, you can take your hand and you can put it on your heart and you can start to just feel and be present to your heart, and depending on how attuned you are to yourself, you can start to ask to your heart, what does my heart need to be open? What does my heart need to feel safe? And start to give yourself the things that you need rather than looking outside of yourself to get them, because it's all in here. So we have to take responsibility. But first, choose to open your heart, then start to get connected to your heart. And then it's probably, most people need some support because their heart is not a very pretty place. It's been hurt and ravaged and gone through. And so having someone like myself or someone who holds the space in a beautiful way to help you heal your heart is one of the keys for sure to be able to receive the sacred love.
And what I did was I figured out a couple values that were important to me of what love was for me. So I put them on my bathroom mirror, and I put love and then kindness, respect, and honor. And then I thought, well, how am I loving myself? How am I showing myself kindness? Because I am the worst critic. I am so mean to myself and I beat myself up all the time. So by that word kindness, I have to treat myself kindly and then respect myself. I mean, these are really important, especially if you want to pull in a great relationship.
Totally. If you're saying those kinds of things to yourself and treating yourself unkind, I can almost put money on it that you'll attract a partner who says unkind things to you. And really, they're really a reflection of what you're saying to yourself. I mean, the universe, it's all vibrational. and we
Mm-hmm.
attract our mirror all the time. And so by loving ourselves, it's not something just stupid or dumb or cliche. Like, it's real. The more you authentically love yourself, and even, the mirror exercise and putting those words up is beautiful. Even putting your hand on your heart and saying, I love you. I
Mm-hmm.
accept you. You're perfect just the way you are. I mean, before you go to bed at night, like, put your hand on your heart and just say that to yourself. I love you. I love you so much, right? Like, we can start to feed ourselves with that and be nourished.
After my divorce, I found this little flower pin. You'd push the button and it'd go, I love you. I love you. And every time I felt really like deflated, I just deflated, I would
Yeah.
push that and I would go, I'd hear, I love you. I love you. And I'd start saying, I love you. I love you. And then I'd laugh because
Yes.
this flower with this cute little face is going, I love you. I love you. But then
Yeah.
I had to do something to like tell myself I loved myself, because after a divorce is pretty hard.
It's very hard. And most people go into blame and go into they did something wrong and they suck at love. And I mean, the conversations I've had with some of my clients that have been divorced, and, I try to tell them, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. No one taught you how to love. The fact that you got married and had a relationship, you did the best that you could without having any skills. I mean, it's really a
Right.
crime that we don't know how to love and we don't learn these things. This is basics to having a good life, is having good relationships. But literally, I had to go and travel around the world to find the information that I share with people. It's not like it was just readily available or there were models showing us that. So first we have to kind of be gentle on ourselves, but then we need to say, hey, I'm going to start to make myself a priority. And it sounds like that's what you did from that divorce. Like, your heart was broken, but you found a way to like find love for yourself and heal your heart, which I commend you on, because
Yeah.
that's the journey.
Yeah. And talking about relationships, you have the male energy and the female energy. So how does it affect a relationship and what's the difference?
Yeah, and this is something that, a lot of people have a hard time understanding. But as human beings, we all have masculine energy and feminine energy, and all of us, not just men and women. Masculine energy is the part of us that's focused on goals, it's directional, it's the hunter, he like points to a target and aims. He's got a set plan. He holds the space, holds the container. He creates the safety. Feminine energy is the heart and the love and the compassion and the motherly energy, right? And it's the feminine, it's the sexuality. And so what happens is, in relationship, we need to understand how these energies work. And most people don't. So they get into a relationship and they're either really coming from their masculine, like if I'm a woman and I'm coming from my masculine because I've been working all day, I'm focused on purpose, which is reality in the world that we live in. And then I come home to my partner and I meet him in that same masculine energy when he's in his masculine. We're not going to create romance. We're going to create conflict and talking, and maybe we'll debate really well, right? And have some good arguments and energy because we're both holding that masculine space. But I need to consciously move into my feminine if I want to be in a romantic space and be receptive, let his masculine lead. And sometimes it's not to say that I may choose to be the masculine holder so he can go into his feminine and be held and feel safe and be nurtured, right? But when we don't understand this and we work and we do all of these things and we're juggling our life and our kids and our business, and then we're trying to come home and feel sexy and feel turned on, and we're like, why don't I don't know, and then we beat ourselves up because we don't, because we should be the perfect everything.
Right.
And it's like, because we need to understand we have these different energies, and we can consciously say, okay, now I'm going to go be in my masculine and do my work. Now I'm in relationship. I want to open my feminine, open my heart, be connected. So maybe it looks like I come home from work and I take a bath, or I play a song on the radio while I'm driving home that I really love, that gets me out of my head and into my body. But it helps me drop in so then I can be more present in my relationship.
That's great. And then that leads to this wild, passionate, erotic sex, right?
Right, because if I want to have passion, I need to have polarity. And polarity comes from having a charge, right? Like if you think of a battery, a positive charge and a negative charge, it makes the battery spark. If we have two negative charges, you don't get the electricity. Well, it's the same in good sex, good lovemaking, good connection. We need a masculine pole and a feminine pole. And even this is the same like for people that are in a same-sex relationship. If they want to have hot sex, one partner needs to hold the masculine pole and one partner the feminine pole. And you can exchange that and you can dance between that energy. But you can't expect to have great passion if you're both in your masculine or you're both in your feminine. Right?
That's
and then
important.
there's also, being willing to slow down and be present and actually connect with your partner. But for a lot of people, that's scary because of what we were talking about with the traumas we've had in our heart. So we really got to work on healing our heart, and healing our heart and also healing the energy and the shame and most people have around sex, because we've also lived in a world that hasn't honored sex, hasn't taught it as sacred. And in that sense, we don't really honor how amazing it can be, and we settle for really unnourishing, crappy sex, and then we wonder why we don't want to have it more. Like when I hear a woman tell me that she doesn't like sex, I'm just like, oh my God, you are not having, you're not open in the way, because we are built to enjoy sex and to be nourished by it and to be loved by it, but we are not doing it right in our world, and the kind of sex that most people have is not nourishing. It makes you feel bad about yourself a lot of times. It's goalful and trying to get somewhere, and it's just, we just don't know what we don't know, but it's time to learn, and I had to go out and learn it. And I'm creating a lot of like programs and ways and teaching, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk to your audience, because I think we just need to know that there is more and start to put our attention on creating it.
And there's a correlation too between the sexual chakra, abundance, and finances. And so what does an abundant mindset mean to you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, an abundant mindset means that I'm living connected to source. I feel safe. I feel like I'm not alone in the world, right? But in my energy system, it means that, my lower chakras are open. So that's my sex energy, right? If I have shame around my sex, if I have this, it's down in my lower chakras, which rule my abundance and my money and my safety. And then I need to also have my heart open in my higher consciousness, so I feel supported, right? The beautiful thing is when you have healthy energy in your sexuality, and you can do that, you can have that by yourself. You don't have to have a partner to have healthy sexual energy. But also with a partner, you can create with that sexual energy incredible abundance in your life when those pathways are cleared and you don't have shame around it. You can actually use that energy to make more money and call more things into you. I've taught many of my couples that work with me sacred sexual practices that help them together create their dreams very rapidly, because sexual energy is life force. So if we're shut off to it, if we think it's wrong or we think it's bad, we're really shutting off the flow of life force that's available to us.
Yes. And I recently read a survey that said 98 to 99% of all our problems, the underlying core thing is shame. I mean, it's like, and it's not something we talk about. We keep it hidden.
Yes.
And it's amazing because once you relate to it and get it out, it frees you up. And then you have all this new energy and things happen in your life. And there's this freedom.
Yeah.
So,
and it's what you're saying is so important. And, it's what we're seeing in the world today with everything going on. There's a lot of darkness that we've been hiding under the covers. We haven't wanted to look at, but there's behaviors, and all of these things are a cry for us to be more conscious, more loving, to clear our own shame, right? But we have a lot of personal responsibility. Like, we're not victims. We can go in and heal our own shame, heal our own hearts, and it will be reflected in the world that we live in. But when we don't, it's reflected in the world we live in because it's all repressed and it has to come out somehow. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people get afraid that if I open up this doorway to my shame, if I open up these deep, dark places where I've been afraid and I face them, I'm never going to get out of it. I'm going to just get lost in this place. So I'm going to protect myself from that. I'm going to shield it. And yet, what I know is that we can heal those things with love,
Yes.
sacred love. Like all these parts of ourselves are just crying out to be loved and accepted and healed. And we can do that for ourselves. And the more we do that, we increase our abundance, our self-worth, which also makes us a more amazing partner because we have more self-worth and self-love. So we'll attract that in our partner and in our businesses. It really goes across the board.
So what are some steps that we can do to bring love into our lives? So let's say we're single, because do you typically deal with a lot of women or couples?
I work with men and women, singles, who want to have their forever love. I help singles, and then I also work with couples, because once they get this love, I want them to have sacred love that lasts and know how to keep it alive and juicy and fulfilling. So I work with both, and I try to choose one to work with, but it feels like I'm here to serve all of those people on this sacred love.
Okay, but for this example, let's say we have a single woman and she needs to practice loving herself more, because when she loves herself more, then it's easier for love to come back to her and come into her life. So what is a way somebody can love themselves more?
Yes, thank you. Let's just make it real concrete. So I like the example of putting the words on the mirror that you can look at, and maybe she looks in the mirror every day and she says, wow, Emunah, you are so beautiful. I love you. I love you so much. I'm always going to be here for you, right? She says to herself the things she longs for a partner to say to her.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we need to start to give ourselves that. And that the brain doesn't know the difference. It hears, oh my God, you're so loved, you're so safe, you're so cherished. And it starts to open and feel safe. So that's one thing, right? Then, physicalizing it, putting your hand on your heart. I love you. I love you. I love you, Emunah. I love you, Jolen. I love you, right? You're like saying this and feeding your heart. And then when those thoughts of shame or doubt, or there's not enough good men, or everyone's ruined and blah, 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 they feel those fears and they feel those feelings, and they also love them. Like, I'm going to hold a space of love for that. And that may be a little harder. You might need some help until you learn how to do that for yourself. But having the intention, what I want people to know is it doesn't have to be this long, scary, horrible journey. Like, we just need a safe space to love these parts of ourselves, get into alignment, and then these women will start to attract men of much more quality, right? I mean, I see this with every client I work with. They immediately start attracting men at a whole nother level because they've been shifting on the inside.
Right. But doesn't it also shift the consciousness of men in general? When women are saying, hey, I want to be treated this way with love, kindness, respect, the men are stepping up and doing that. I think it's helping everybody in the world because we're raising the vibrational rate.
We're raising the vibrational rate, and it's, this is maybe a touchy subject for some people, but I feel it's important to just like address it head on. Is like a lot of women, because we want love so much, we will settle, we will sacrifice, and we will put up with crap that we don't need to. And what you're saying, it doesn't serve these men. It enables them. And so there's a place where we need to heal our own wounds. And, again, I've done it. I've attracted some of the most horrible things, and God bless all the men I've dated. I love and appreciate them for making me who I am. But I went through a lot of stuff, and a lot of it was because I wanted love so much that I would often settle. I would often put up with a lot of things. And in my own journey, I had to really become my own lover, become my own best friend, become my own confidant, and heal myself. And it was only then that it was like a whole new world. The man I'm with now, he just found me on Facebook and messaged me. It was the easiest thing I've ever gone through. And I've gone through so much trying to find partners, right? And I was just like, whoa. And our relationship is so different than the past. It's so harmonious and loving and connected and nourishing and honest. But it's because I finally got to that place with myself of love. that's what I could attract. And the universe, it kept giving me exactly the mirror of where I was at. And so I had to look and then love myself deeper. Yeah. And it's not easy.
That makes sense, because the person I was dating, I realized, he's saying some things that I really don't like, and I don't want to be treated this way.
Yes.
And it took me a while to realize, wow, I don't really like this. And so I started looking at, where am I doing this to myself? And I started cleaning it up on myself. And then all of a sudden I decided, wow, I don't really need him anymore. And
he was in your life to teach you that lesson for you. And you did it in both ways. Like, I love how you took responsibility for yourself and looked at how are you creating it. But also the other lesson was you chose yourself. You were willing to say, I don't need this relationship if this is how it's going to be. There's a place where we have to start to create boundaries because we love ourselves, that we say, you're not going to treat me like that. I'm going to go away. But a lot of women don't do that. We try to fix the guy. We try to help him because we have, and when we're talking about abundance and a mindset, a lot of us think, and this is an illusion, that there's not enough good men. There's not this, so we'll settle for what we have and think, well, this is as good as it gets. And that's a very low vibrational scarcity mindset. And there's an abundance of amazing men in the world. There really are. Yeah. Right? But we need to show up as that so we can attract them to us.
That is a really good point, because when we show up, they show up.
Absolutely. And this is how we're going to shift the world, it's not airy-fairy. Like, really, we've got to do the inner work and love the parts of ourselves that need loving, take responsibility, stop looking outside for someone else to make us happy. We have to find our happiness within. And then guess what? Someone will pop into your world that can walk that dance with you.
Right. What is it? A Beatles song, Love Makes the World Go Round, or something like that? I mean, really, the world, I really feel we're here to see how much we can love.
Yes, I agree.
And then when we're not loving, it's like a signal saying, oh, you're going the wrong direction.
Totally. And then we got to look at ourselves and then give ourselves that love that we were seeking.
Right.
It's really true. Love is the missing ingredient. It's what we're being called for to have. And what's exciting is that everyone, it makes us not have to be the victim to our life. Like, I can really take that on. I can love myself, right? So for the single women, I can say those loving things to myself in the mirror. I could date myself. Like, I can buy myself flowers. I can dance for myself. All the things that I want someone to do for me, I need to start to give to me. I need to start to see myself as that. And then I'm going to be attracting it, right?
Right. I know. I love to dance in my living room. I call it exercise, but really it's just fun.
It's fantastic. And, when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, our feminine energy is of the body. She likes to dance. She likes to move. Like, she needs to get into her body and out of her head. And we have a lot of wisdom. When we're in our body, we have wisdom. We get answers. We know what to do. We have confidence. We feel better about ourselves. So all this is important.
It really is. Well, this has been so fascinating. I love this conversation, but we're running short on time. So how do our listeners get a hold of you? And do you have a free gift or something for them?
I do. So again, it's my mission and purpose to really land this area of sacred love and see more love in the world. So my website is called sacredlovethatlast.com. And if you go to sacredlovethatlast.com/free-gift, you'll be able to receive a series that I created for you called The 3 Keys to Hot Sacred Love That Lasts. So it's a short video series. You can get access to it right away. You'll also get to be a part of my community. So you'll learn about events and offerings and things that I have to help you have sacred love that lasts, because we all deserve that and the world needs us to step into that.
That is so true. What a wonderful gift. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And is there one tip you can leave our listeners with today that they can walk away with and practice this week?
Yes, I would love everyone just to first, make that conscious choice that they're going to open their heart. And then start to say, I love you to yourself. if you could walk away and you could choose to open your heart and you can decide that every morning and every night when you wake up and before you go to bed, you're going to tell yourself sincerely, I love you, you will start to see a huge shift in your heart, in your life. And I know it sounds simple, but try it and tell us what happens, right?
Yeah, that's so funny because my hair has changed over the years. And it really changed after chemo. So I put my identity in my hair. So what I did was I started going, oh, Jolen, you look so fabulous today. And my statement was, wow, you look good. And then all of a sudden I went out networking and stuff and people were coming back to me, wow, you really look good. And I thought, did they hear me say that?
Yes, this stuff works, it really, really works. But so it's like we have to stop being a victim and going, oh, poor me, nobody loves me, nobody gets me. Like, it's okay, forgive yourself, love yourself, give yourself love. And then just like you, I bet if you start saying that, you'll go out and you might have people say, wow, I just really love you. Thank you for being who you are. You're
Oh,
like, whoa.
see? That's great. I love it. Well, that's a fabulous tip. And I really appreciate you having you on the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. It's a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.